Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with me, and one of the other suggestions for a video was a writing board. Let's see where that was. Excuse my writing, I just scribbled it on here. Writing board somewhere. Yeah, writing board. They said that they had heard other people talk about a writing board and they didn't know what it was, so they wanted to know. Now, I've seen people make writing boards in different ways. I'll show you how I make mine, and we'll kind of go from there. This is some of our lightweight chipboard. It is 0.22, so that's like 22 seconds of an inch, something like that. It's very, very thin, but yet it's about the width of it's about the thickness of a cereal box. So if you've got cereal boxes, they make fantastic writing board inserts. Now, what you need to do is take your journal. Don't make all your writing boards the same size because they won't fit in your journals. I take my journal, and in my front pocket is where I like to put my writing board. And I just make sure that I cut this down to the size that'll go in that front pocket. And see, that goes perfectly. Now that's going to be just the right size to slide under my page. Let's just say I wanted to write on this page. I could slide that writing board under that page and write without having a lot of bumps and clumps and all of that, you know? So you could slide it under here, and then you could write, and you have something hard underneath to write on. So that's what a writing board is, basically. It just gives you that, you know, when your journal gets kind of full, it's hard to write on it. That gives you that solid base to put under there. Now, I take, these are 8.5 by 11 sheets that we sell. And I cut them in half. And I put two together. It makes it a little bit thicker, and I like my writing boards to be thick enough that they don't bend or give when you're doing a lot of pressing down on them. So if you've got cereal boxes, just to cut it and glue two pieces together, and you've got a good solid base there. I don't put any embellishments on my writing boards because, to me, if you put embellishments on it, you're kind of defeating your purpose. Your purpose is to have a solid flat surface to write on. So putting embellishments on there just, I mean, it just defeats the purpose in my eyes. But I know some people do. Some people decorate them up and all of that. I just don't do that. I like to just have that good, solid, flat surface. Okay. Alright, now I'm just going to look and see if I've got any little bit that needs to be trimmed off. I'm not talking too straight today. It's like I don't know what my deal is. Okay. Probably had too much caffeine. Alright, I'm just kind of squaring it up a little bit. There we go. Got all of that little extra cut off there. Now, I like to, since I don't embellish mine, I like to cover my writing boards with a really, really pretty paper. Of course, you're going to need to go with something that's going to match your journal. So this will match my journal. I'll put this writing board in this journal, and see, it's going to go great because it's flowers, and that's the rose journal. So I think I will go up here and I can get that on there. Now you can do this 2 or 3 different ways. You can just fold this paper around and just put it on both sides, or you can put it kind of in the middle and fold it around and have a joint in the back, but I don't like to have a joint in the middle. So what I do, first off, we're gonna cut this top part off right here. And back through my videos, you will see that I've made writing boards at different times. I try to put one in most all of my journals, but sometimes I forget. You know, I'm only human. Sometimes I do forget. Now, what I do to keep the chipboard from showing on either side is I have just a little bit of this that's going to lap over that, and it's going to fold around to the back. And it's not going to make a difference You're not going to have a seam there. I'll show you why in just a second. I don't take much, just a little bit. And I can't even stay on the top of this to put my glue on there. This paper is from the paper pad that we had in the store. I don't think we have any more. It's called Painted Floral. Don't know if we have any more of that or not. Now I'm going to look this way and see if I've got that pretty well straight. That'll work right there. And you want to press this down really well because you want this to stick. Again, I do not stitch around these. So I make sure that I've got my glue all the way to the edges. I don't want any stitching on there because I don't want anything that's going to hinder the back part of this from, I don't want anything that's going to hinder my writing. I want it to be flat as it can be. Now I'm going to trim this off, hopefully, with my knife here. There we go. Now this piece, we need to trim a little bit of this off too. Let's go ahead and do that first before we start trying to fold. That'll work right there. Looks like I may have laid it down just a tiny bit crooked, but I think it'll be okay. Okay. Then you want to take this and fold it up like that, and I just work it back and forth to keep it from cracking. And then I take this side and I do the same thing on that side. Then this piece is going to fold over that, and I like to get it nice and tight. I don't want it to be loose. I don't want my paper to be loose on here. Alright, we're going to put a little bit of glue under there. Driving that glue crooked today. Okay. Alright, that's going to press down really, really well. Make sure you press it as hard as you can. That needs to be just as flat as possible. Okay, and then we're going to fold this piece around there. And again, I want this to be right up against that chipboard. I don't want any bowing in there or any loose paper. I want it to be nice and tight. Now this piece right here we're going to cut off, and I'm going to use my scissors because I'm afraid if I used my craft knife I would end up going a little crooked and cutting into that other paper. There we go. Alright, now we're just going to put our glue on this side. And you don't have to make these with regular paper like this. You can make them with digitals if you want. I just like the thickness of the regular paper, scrapbook paper, so that's why I use it, but you don't have to use this. Make sure you spread that glue out really well. Don't want any of that coming loose. And then I just wipe off my excess. Okay, now we have a little bit of the cardstock showing in the end there. That's not a problem to me because I usually just ink it up anyway. But if that bothers you, then you could always wrap that as well, just like we wrapped on that one little side there. Just leave a little bit of paper and lap it over. But it doesn't bother me because I usually just ink it and you can't tell the difference. It just looks like part of the inking. So there is a writing board. That's it. See? Nice and hard. Doesn't bend. So then you can put it under that page and write on it all you want to. Now, if you did want to stitch on this, I would stitch just as close to the edge as I could. That way your stitching doesn't hinder your writing. But that basically is a writing board. And then what I do is I take them, and I usually put them in the back of the journal, but you could always put them in the front, and see that goes right there, and it looks good with that paper. And like I said, it makes a good solid foundation for your writing. Put it under that page, and then you can just turn that page over and write all you want. Don't have to worry about anything that's under your writing board. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to put that down in there. Now, this is how the chipboard looks when you get it. It's 8.5 by 11, so one of your sheets would fit on there perfectly. And this is a digital, and then you could just fold it around. You wouldn't have that little bit of extra to fold around unless you cut some of your chipboard off, but you can make it work. It will work. So that is all I do. And like I said, if you have cereal boxes, you can use those. You don't have to buy this chipboard. Lots of times I use cereal boxes, or I will use the backing of my paper pads. I save the front and the back of my paper pads, and I'll use these. I just glue two together and I use that. Alright guys, that is it. This is a very short, this is just tips and tricks, I think. This is a very, very short video, but I wanted to make sure that I got that one in because that was one of the suggestions that we had on there. And we will talk to you guys later. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And if you have some suggestions for us as something that you would like to see done, then just leave it in the comments below. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.